Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Ratazar Allah from GMS London Camp. First and foremost, want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechachudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings to the hopeful and sincere elect, Bachaya Kodash, Baha'ah Ratazar, scattered around the four winds of the earth. Greetings. It's a quick upload in regards to this war to end all wars, the war of Armageddon, that the contentions that's brewing. And between these major superpowers, between Russia, which represents the Medes, so-called Gog and Magog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and then you got China, you know, the Pings and the Jings, and them guys over there going against who? With the yen and all that, going against who? They're the major destroyer of the earth right now, led by DJ Trump, the American society, so to speak, or the American empire, which is Babylon the Great, aka America today. And these three, basically titans are gonna come to their heads, clash very soon, man, over there in the Middle East, especially in the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat, place of the Most High's judgment. In the final war to end all wars, WW3, and especially with the situation that's going on with these trade wars, tariff wars, and all that between America and China, and the back and forth that they're having, which is leading for America to basically spread themselves thin. Because as well as that happening with the trade wars, they got situations where they got to defend Israel against their enemies, mainly of Iran, Tehran, and all of that, with all the Hamas and all these different groups that they keep talking about, which even Apostle Elder Rhymelab brought out that word Hamas is really a Hebrew word. It goes back to the word Hamas, which means violence. When you check out that word violent in the scriptures, that word Hamas comes out. So this is what Esau Edom's calling those so-called Palestinians, the violent ones, when really they're the violent ones. It tells you that in Psalms 140, that we need deliverance from the wicked, the evil man, that spread forth his violence, by violence have they taken over the world, and so on and so forth. And in another book of Psalms, was it the 53rd chapter? I might get that if I can find it. But, you wear your hands in the earth by way of violence. That's the precept, Salakia. But Psalms 53 and 2, I think it is. But these devils are habitual liars, man, and everything that they've done throughout society, their ill-gotten gains is coming back to bite them in the arse, man. Especially through this monetary system, which is backed by fraud. The iniquity of their traffic, as the scriptures talk about, their monetary system. So, and Putin made a recent comment regarding the tariff wars between America and China, and in the heading says, when tigers fight, which these are the three main tigers, or two main tigers, he's saying, when tigers fight, the wise monkey sits and observes. So America is one of the tigers, and China's another tiger, basically. And Putin's relating himself to the monkey, a wise monkey, basically, that's sitting back and observing, waiting for their time to jump into the war, basically. Just to reap the spoils, basically, man. And that's what Russia's getting ready to do. They're going to reap the spoils of this world war by basically setting off the ultimate nuclear weapons, the ICBMs, to pelt America and destroy that place off the face of the earth. They represent the feet of the bear, which is their animal symbol is the bear, and they represent the feet of the end of this whole European beast system, man, because they're going to be the end of this American rulership on this earth. So they're biding their time, so to speak. So they are like the wise monkeys, sitting back and observing, and holding back and waiting until the allotted time by Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to step in, in this Third World War situation, especially when they got boots on the ground and they're doing that conventional war type warfare with the Iranians, which is going to ultimately turn nuclear, and Iran's being supplied by with weapons from, you know, mainly Russia, and so on and so forth. So doing their trades, so it's gonna get very corrosive very soon after the MOT to the B is made mandatory on the face of the earth, which is the CHIP technology, man. So everything is in line with prophecy, and the Lord is going to stir up the spirit of the Medes. That's basically what the title of the sit down is going to be. Because, as I said, Putin recognizes what his role is in this whole World War III scenario. He's going to be the end of this American, basically, tyrannical rule. So he's just biding his time, sitting back and watching this American society fall apart. Basically, it's a public demolition of this American Edomite society. So this is beautiful, man. And China's supposed to be, like it tells you in the Apocrypha, there Asia is supposed to be the hope of the progression of Babylon, basically, roughly paraphrasing. But even they're gonna get caught up into the scenario of World War III, and to have their back and forths, and ultimately, China's gonna lose out because America's gonna be destroyed, and that's their biggest cash cow when it comes to consumerism, importing and exporting. So it's beautiful, man, the way things are playing out. But we're seeing how destructive and how unethical of leaders that these Americans are, especially with DJ Trump. That guy is just like a loose cannon, just loose balling, and he's a puppet anyway. He's doing what he's told by his oligarchs, the Kabbalists that he works for. Alex Jones will call the globalists and all that. And never wants to give any names, but the banking elite are basically the ones that control these leaders anyway, these worldwide leaders. They're all puppets, but DJ Trump is the ultimate puppet right now, and he's leading America down that road to perdition, man, which the eighth head represents America in Revelation 17, that was made to go into perdition, meaning to be destroyed. So this is beautiful to see, man, the marvelous works of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai taking place, man. And sooner rather than later, we're going to be out of here. This is Isaiah 13 and verse 17. I love this precept, one of my favorite precepts. It says, Babylon will fall to the Medes, man. So America's going to be destroyed by the modern day Russians, which are the Medes today, the wise monkey, basically, which Putin's calling himself. So behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, says, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So that the trade deals and all of these different things is going to lead to more contention and more strife, and ultimately it's not going to deliver America from the glittering sword. It's going to lead to them getting hit with the glittering sword, because right now America is the number one nation that's most hated on the face of the earth. But prior to Trump getting into office on January 26th, when it was, everyone was looking at him like he was the savior, like he was a saint. As soon as he got into office, he was signing all kinds of executive orders and just totally moving, basically loose balling, basically just moving crazy and saying crazy things, And now with all these different tariff wars that he's doing, it's showing you how unstable as a leader that DJ Trump really is, But as I said, he's just doing what he's told by his elites, by his handlers, basically. But it's going to lead for America to be destroyed. America's not going to be made great again. It says, their bows, talking about the ICBM missiles, also shall dash the young men to pieces, and shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So it's going to get very dark, very, very gloomy and doomsday-like in these last days for America, man. America's going to become a war zone overnight, especially if there's an economic collapse and time of Jacob's trouble ensues, which is ultimately going to lead to that Third World War, because it's basically a demolition, man. The Lord's, as I said, publicly demolishing this whole American society, financially, economically, spiritually, and all that. They ain't spiritual anyway, but morally wise, all of that. It's just showing you that these devils are full of vomit, man. They err in understanding and leadership. And Esau was never made to rule because he's not the righteous leaders that they proclaim themselves to be. They're seed of the wicked. The righteous are the children of Israel, the true children of Israel, which are you Negroes. Latinos and Native Americans, which make up the 12 tribes, starting with the elect. And that's going to be the new government, new mountain that the Lord's going to set up, and all these other nations are going to come bowing down to worship and to basically be under slavery in the kingdom to come, the everlasting kingdom. It says in Babylon, in America, the glory of kingdoms, that great city, which it talks about in Revelation 18, the merchant city, it's going to be destroyed, man. And that's why China's going to be crying. The Xi Zhongs and the Pings and whoever was out there with the yen, they're going to be crying because they're not going to be able to make no more money off America no more. They're going to lose their biggest cash cow, so to speak. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as whence the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And still to this day, they're still trying to find out where Sodom and Gomorrah was, man. And that place got decimated and destroyed by fire and brimstone, And that's how America's going to end up. But it's going to be that more destructive because America's a bigger piece of landmark on the earth. So it's going to be that much destructive, which the whole earth is going to feel the impact of those nukes pelting America and destroying that whole land and turn it into basically modern day Sodom and Gomorrah desert, where only desert-like creatures are going to live there after the smoke is cleared, And it's going to remain like that forever, basically, like it tells you in the 22nd verse, from the 21st verse, basically, about wild beasts. Of the desert shall lie there. That's how America's going to become, the forbidden zone. It's going to become uninhabitable for human consumption, basically. The barren land, wasted barren land. So I was going to get Psalms 140, but let me see. Let me get that real quick then. Because who's the violent man on the earth, as I just mentioned? The so-called white man. They want to act like they're the most, they're the bringers of peace, when all they've brought is nothing but the sword and war and death and colonization, all throughout their rulerships, man. Especially under this rulership now, the Renaissance, since they came out of the caves and all of that. So Psalms 140 and 1, the prayer from a protection against the wicked. This is from King David himself. It says, to the chief musician, the Psalm of David, deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man, preserve me from the violent man. So who's the violent man of the earth? You're talking about Hamas and all that, they're the violent, the so-called Palestinians, but who, according to the scriptures, the violent man is you so-called white people. You're the most violent of them all, man. And it's the word there, it's the same word, Hamas. They say Hamas, but really you're supposed to say Hamas, with the CH sound in front. And that's how you pronounce it. So that's what it means, violence, wrong, cruelty, injustice, and that's what, BB and the rest of them devils are calling those Palestinians that, are fighting for their freedom, basically, retaliating just to survive. They're calling them so-called T-words and all of that, for retaliating against these devils that have been persecuting them for mad years. And now they want to go over there to Iran and fuck with them, because that's supposed to be the home base of the Hamas and all of that. When they're the real violent men of the earth, you represent the red horse that was made to take peace from the earth, man. I mean, they just put that, example of you being a red man in the new Marvel movie Captain America. You got Harrison Ford playing that president as an Edomite, and then what happened to him? He transformed into a fucking red Hulk, man. Why was he transformed into a red Hulk of all colours? Because he represents the red man of the earth. And that's what their nationality is, red, Going back to Edom, Adawam, which means red in the Hebrew. So that's why, Harrison Ford was turned into a red Hulk. Even though that movie was trash anyway, but that was like the best part of the whole movie, basically, when he turns into the red Hulk and he's fighting the modern day Captain America, So that shows you that these man in Hollywood know who Esau is. He's the red man of the earth. He's the violent man, man. And right now, your guy DJ Trump, he's turning into the Red Hulk, and he's revealing them horns, man, because he's just moving crazy right now, uncontrollable, you know, rage of pride and all that. So preserve me, so like deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man, preserve me from the violent man. So that's these Edomites, these so-called white people. Says, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. That's all these devils are always fantasizing about is war. Shedding bloodshed. Sif thou hast not hated blood. So how these devils, they ain't got the vibration of peace. You know, they don't push the vibration of peace, man. There's no vibration. There's no honest or righteous bone in their body, man. You know, they're the seed of the wicked for a reason, man. And it shows in their actions. We ain't just saying it. You can check this devil's track record, man, to see the seed of the wicked and the violent man of the earth. Verse 4 says, keep me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who have purpose to overthrow my goings. The proud have hid a snare for me and cords, and they have spread a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me, Salah. And that's what they're ultimately trying to do, trap Jake. Especially into this whole New World Order scenario, which is soon to take place. That's the ultimate trap, and 2/3 are going to fall into that snare because they receive not the love of this truth that they should, be delivered, basically. All undeceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish. They followed Esau's, they fell for Esau's lying wonders and vain false miracles, man. And that's going into this AI C-hip technology, man. That's the ultimate snare. So that's part of the cords that this devil's trying to keep Jake entangled with, which represents slavery, turning us into digital slaves. So he is the violent man. How's Hamas the violent ones, man? When all they can do is throw rocks and pebbles at your ass, and while you're throwing fucking, missiles and all that, pocket nukes and all kinds of, weaponry at them, advanced weaponry to destroy their habitations, man. Turning it into fucking, this rubble. Like you ought to see the pictures of Gaza and how these devils have destroyed that whole land. All these shellings and bombings that they've dropped, man, killing innocent women and children. Who's the real violent one? Anyway. So back to Ezekiel 38. And this going into the Medes, man, which represents the Russians, Gog and Magog, same people. The Russians today, the chief prince, which is the name for Russia. It's Ezekiel 38 and 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, which the word Magog just means from Gog, so it's the same word anyway. It says the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and the prophesy against him. So the chief prince is how you say Russia in the English, basically. Because it's a Hebrew word. It's a compound word. Chief meaning Ra'ash in the Hebrew, and prince in the Hebrew is Shah. So it's a compound word. Russia is a compound word, which means chief prince, basically. So that's who that's talking about, or AKA the Medes. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord, power, O Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back. Yeah, the Lord's going to stir up the spirit of the Medes. And that's why Putin's just sitting back, biding his time, watching everything play out. So when the time is right to strike, the Lord's going to put a spirit on, a thought in Esau's mind, Putin's mind, because the heart of the kings is in the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and he turneth it so whether he want. So roughly paraphrasing. So the Lord's gonna put a war type spirit on Putin to basically destroy America by way of the nukes, because enough is gonna be enough, basically, and even America's allies are gonna join in and shoot missiles and destroy America, basically, because they're overdoing it, like the guy DJ Trump's doing right now. He's overdoing it. He's overstepping these boundaries, and he's not thinking about the recourse of his actions, man. Which the recourse is going to end up America getting turned into a desert by way of ICBM missiles, man. Nothing but warheads is going to be the end of the American society, man. You know, it says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws." Yeah, so that old Soviet war type spirit which Putin's already in, but the Lord's gonna, amplify it basically, so he can bring this whole place to an end, the way of the West to an end. It says, "And I will bring thee forth among all that and all thine armies, horses and horsemen." So going into the weaponry, the artillery, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them holding swords. Persia, which represents who? The modern day Persians, the Iranians, the Carmenians today, So they're going to be a guard unto them, man, These are their allies, so to speak. And funny enough, these countries here are part of last year joined, the BRICS nations, man. The UAE, and Iran, and there was, I think there's two other more countries that joined the BRICS late last year. So they got deals, man. They're partnership. China and Russia and Iran are in, partnership, man, trade deals and all of that. So they're definitely going to come to their defense against the West. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, and it says all of them with shield and helmet. So everyone's got the nuclear capability now. That's why even the Lord said, "Let the weak say that I'm strong." So now everyone's got nuclear capabilities to strike and fight against the West, which is namely America, and Europe as well, but mainly America, man. And Israel's gonna get wiped out because they ain't got no, they got their little Iron Dome and all that, but their defenses, it's not well equipped to deal with the Russians and to go to war with Iran at the same time. Israel's gonna end up getting wiped off the map, which is gonna happen anyway because we need to get them gar rats out of the land, them imposters. So the Lord's gonna do that anyway. But America's gonna get totally wiped out and never to be inhabited by a human again. It's like, yeah. I jump down to verse 7. It says, Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And that's what Russia is. They're a major counterpart, major players in this whole World War III scenario. So that's why Putin's being wise, as he's supposed to do, and sitting back and waiting till shit gets out of hand to the point of no return. Then he's gonna step in and press that final button to wipe out the West, and it's gonna happen. Why? Because Russia's gonna be one of the main guards onto the Iranians when Israel, the least of the flock, draws out America to defend them against Tehran and Iran and all that, And China's definitely going to be involved because they got back and forth with America as well, and they got nuclear capabilities. They got standing armies, more in number than America, So this is waiting to happen, man. This is something that's just waiting to take effect. It's definitely going to manifest in our lifetime. But as I said, sooner rather than later, man. Cause we're definitely nearly out of here. We're at the end of this whole wicked ass society, man. We'll read this last precept and then close out. Yes, I didn't want to make this long. This is Jeremiah 50 and 2. It says, "Declare ye among the nations and publish," which the men of the Lord are doing through this word, out there on the highways and hedges, blowing the trumpet, so to speak. It says, "And set up the standard to publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken and in pieces. Broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces." So ultimately, America is going to be destroyed, man. And we're bragging and boasting in that, man. We can't wait for the day that this takes place, because once this happens, that's when the Lord is going to set up his kingdom in righteousness on the earth, a new heaven and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. And if you are part of the first fruits, the joint heirs, the elect, basically, we're going to be partakers in that glory when the Lord returns by way of the chariots, man, so-called UFOs. It says, "For out of the north," which represents who? The modern day Russians, "there cometh an there cometh up a nation against her, against who? America, Babylon the Great, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. So we're not just making this up when we say America's not going to be, it's going to become the forbidden zone, and there's no one's going to ever live there again, other than, desert creatures, that. It says it in the scriptures. This is what we're reading. It says, and none shall dwell therein. It says, the land shall be desolate, and none shall dwell therein. It says, they shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. That's it. It says, and in those days, let me jump down, verse 5. Well, I think that was it, innit? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so that's it basically, man. America's is done. It says they shall remove and they shall depart, both man and beast. So no one's gonna dwell there in America no more, man. But after the smoke is cleared, there's gonna be, desert-like creatures that's gonna live there. That's gonna be their habitation. That's all you're gonna see. There's a big ass desert of nuclear destruction, man. Pits. It talks about the line of confusion. You're not gonna know where America started or ended, man. That's how it's gonna become so unrecognizable. The forbidden zone, like they promoted in that movie Planet of the Jakes, or Planet of the Apes, should I say, with Charlton Heston and all that. That's gonna be the modern day America. You're not even gonna be able to see where the Statue of Liberty was. That's how bad it's gonna look. So, as I said, this shit's playing out the way the Lord wants it to anyway. Prophecy is speaking, man. When the time of these last major prophecies taking place, we just gotta endure, stay prayerful, and keep doing this work, man. Make your calling and election sure. Give diligence to make your calling and election sure. So we gotta still endure until the end. Then we'll be saved, man. But this is definitely gonna come to pass in our lifetime, man. This generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Let's say if Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So anyway, with that, hopefully brothers was edified. Give all praises and glory to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Chachodash, and Shalom to the hopeful, sincere elect.